everybody, it's Paranormal with Yuri. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and in today's video we are going to be doing something a little bit different. In my very first video, you guys, I told you I'd also be sharing not only urban legend games or urban legend here on the channel, but that I would also be sharing with you guys paranormal story times and paranormal encounters by me or, by other people here on this channel. And so in tonight's video, for the very first time, that is what I'm going to be doing, you guys. I'm going to be sharing a paranormal story time with you guys, or rather 3 paranormal story times with you guys on this channel, which all happened to my best friend, you guys. So yeah, we are going to be sharing the experiences that happened to my best friend when she was younger here on this channel, and then we are going to be talking a little bit about it, and I will give you guys my thoughts and opinions on what happened to her when she was younger. So without further ado, let's get into the video. And before we do, make sure to leave a like and also comment down below your thoughts, and do not forget to subscribe. Anyways, guys, let's get into the video. Okay, you guys, I'm back. I had to film this part like so many times. I'm super annoyed right now, as you can tell. But whatever, you guys, let's actually get into the video now. Okay, so we are going to be reading the first story that happened to my best friend, and then we are going to talk about my thoughts about what happened to her. Okay. When I was little, I lived in a basement. I was there alone with my grandma. I was in the living room while my grandma was in the room behind the living room. I was playing with my dolls when I saw someone come down the stairs. The basement was pretty small, so from the living room I can see the staircase, though the living room wasn't as close as the stairs because of a table we had in between the two. Also, when you come down the stairs, you'll see the kitchen right away. When I was in the living room alone, I saw a tall man, probably 5'7", walk down the stairs and into the kitchen. The man was brown-skinned, bald, and was wearing all black, like a black long sleeve sweater or a shirt. I don't remember because it was in 2010. I remember all those details but one, which is his face. The man didn't have a face to begin with. Me being young, I thought it was someone who came to fix our sink, which was constantly broken. I ran to the kitchen to tell my grandmother that the man was there. But when I looked in the kitchen, no one was there. The man totally disappeared. A couple years later, I come to find out that the basement had a history of paranormal activity. Like, for example, my mother would even wake up in the middle of the night and feel like she's being strangled. 2 hands holding her down. She would feel pressure. Okay, you guys, so I don't know about you guys, but that story is absolutely creepy and bone-chilling, and, it lets you know how real spirits are, or ghosts. I don't even know, but for the skeptics out there, this is really real. This happens, and it's crazy to think that this actually happened to somebody that I know. This goes to show that anything can happen, and really, I can relate to my best friend and this story as well, because when I was younger, I lived in a really big house which was also haunted, and there's a lot of paranormal activity going on there, and well, I saw something similar as well. I clearly saw a man in full black as well. I don't know what it is, but I mean, is it like a similar thing for everybody, or is it just me and my best friend? Because growing up, I saw a man in full black, she saw a man in full black. I mean, what is that really? But I think I have a theory for all of that. Maybe, whoever we saw had just passed away, because I mean, when you're at a funeral, everybody's always wearing all black, so it could mean that that person had just passed away and had just died and had their funeral. I mean, it would make much sense that that could happen. I mean, think about it. They're wearing all black, so they must have just died. I mean, it's a pretty good theory if you guys think about it, right? I mean, it would make much sense. Anyways, you guys, it is a very creepy thing, and you know, it shows you that creepy stuff like this can happen, and it can be very real, whether the skeptics like to believe that or not. I mean, they just love to think that just because it doesn't happen to me doesn't mean it's real. Because let me tell you, just because something doesn't happen to you doesn't mean that it's fake, you know? Something does not always have to happen to a person to make it real, you know? Sometimes, you know, it doesn't happen to you for a reason, and you should let it stay that way. Because honestly, something creepy like that happening to you, I mean, obviously you would be scared, right? I'm sure you wouldn't want something like that to happen to you, but you know, it's just very real, and it's, you know, it's something that you couldn't even possibly begin to imagine, but it really is surreal. It really can happen. But anyways, you guys, let's get into the second story time by my best friend. So let's go ahead and read that right now. So I got my iPad with me again, and we are going to be reading the second story time. Okay, so it says, I was the youngest kid, and people say that spirits show themselves more towards kids, which probably explains which is why I was the only one who saw a figure. In that same basement, I was playing in the room alone and remember feeling a pressure of being looked at. The room's light bulb was pretty weak, so it wasn't lighting up the whole entire room. I felt a pressure of being looked at in the dark corner of the room. I was looking over at the corner because I felt weirded out by something there. A doll that was on the shelf winked. It was one of the dolls that only close their eyes when you lay them. I screamed to my grandma, and we decided to throw the doll away. Okay, you guys, now I don't know if it's just me, but I believe, like, in things like this, because, you know, they say that, you know, demonic stuff or demonic presence can possess a doll. Now, a random ghost or a random spirit cannot possess a doll. So I believe it could have been like a demonic presence, you know, inside the doll. But then yet again, it could have just been a coincidence, because things like this could happen all the time. It doesn't always mean it's paranormal activity, but it still could be a paranormal activity, because she did say that there was a lot of paranormal activity going on down there in the basement. So, you know, it couldn't have been just a coincidence. But I don't know, you guys. I mean, some things like this, you know, just happen. And it's very crazy to think that, like, so many crazy paranormal demonic things can happen to you. But it is a basement, and, you know, a lot of paranormal activity and scary things usually go down in the basement. And, you know, I understand the feeling of, you know, being watched. It's very creepy, and, you know, yeah, I mean, if you, like, feel something watching you, I mean, obviously, you know, there could have been, like, a presence there, like a paranormal activity going on down in the basement. Now, I believe she said, I was the youngest kid, and people say the spirits show themselves towards the kids the most. Now, I really want to agree with that statement the most. I feel like, you know, ghosts or spirits, or, you know, demonic presences, or just paranormal presences in general, they love to show themselves to kids the most, because kids are innocent, and, you know, they have evil intentions. Sometimes ghosts and spirits, they don't harbor demonic intention. They're just there, you know, showing themselves to you because they want to. I wouldn't know why, but sometimes ghosts and spirits, they're not all evil, and maybe they don't all harbor demonic intentions, but, you know, it can scare you if you're just a kid, you know, having these things happen to you. So I could understand where she was coming from, you know. I mean, I went through paranormal, you know, encounters all the time as a kid growing up in a big haunted house, so I understand exactly how she would feel. Now, let's move into the third story she told me about. Let me read it to you guys and give you guys my thoughts and opinions on that. Okay, so let's get into it. Hey, you guys, so I'm back, and we are going to be reading the third story that my best friend sent me, and then we're going to talk about it. It is so hot in here, you guys. It's so annoying to film in here, but let's just get this over with anyways. So here's what it says. When me and my older sister were younger, we lived in an apartment where the last people who lived there were kicked out when they got caught doing satanic stuff. One time my mom went out for a second and she told us she would be back. She tried to rush back since it was just me and my younger sister in the apartment alone. Me and my sister were in my mother's windowsill waving goodbye to her until she had finally left. Next to the window there was a TV stand. Since it was in 2009, the TV stands looked like closets because of how big and chunky the TVs would be. They were huge. The TV stand was leaning on a door that would go to the other room on the other side, which was my aunt's room. When our mother was gone, we decided to go play. We turned around. What we saw next made us scream loudly. It had us scared. We were waiting in the living room all cuddled up together in the corner till our mother came home. Under the TV stand we saw a big hairy paw which was gray, looked almost like a bear's paw with long nails which had blood coming out of it. When we turned around to go play, the paw hand, whatever it was, yanked itself back inside, as if he was going to grab us when we weren't looking. And when my mother came home, we told her later, and waited for my aunt to come home so she could open her room to check if there was something there. And nothing was there. It would have been one thing if only I saw it, but the fact that my sister saw the same thing proves that it was real. Okay, you guys, so that's some very crazy stuff that happened, and honestly nothing like that has ever happened to me, so it's quite shocking that they saw something that crazy and surreal, but I'm like shocked by what happened to them. And honestly, like, I can't believe this actually happened to her and her little sister. It must have been frightening, being their age and seeing something like that all alone in an apartment. I mean, obviously they would be frightened and like be huddled up in the corner just waiting for their mom, hoping and praying that she'd come home soon, so they wouldn't have to deal with that, and it's very crazy that they both actually saw it. Who would have thought that like both of them together could have seen the same actual thing, because like stuff like this, it happens like usually only like one kid would see it, and then the other would probably not even believe that it's real. But what I wonder is if her mother and her aunt, believed them. Like, what were their thoughts when their kids told her about what happened to them? Did they believe it? Obviously, when her aunt looked in there was nothing there, so it all could have seemed like a big fat lie made up to, prank the mother and the aunt. But the kids were frightened, so obviously, like, did they believe them? Did they think it was real, or did they just think it was their imagination? Like, I'm curious to know the mother and the aunt's thoughts as well. But in an adult's mind, if a little kid goes up to you and says something unbelievable, like, obviously, like the older people, like the adults, would obviously think like it's just their wild imagination, until they would actually see it as well. But I just want to know, like, if like her mother believed her and her younger sister, and if the aunt believed her. What were they thinking in that moment? Did they believe it? Did it frighten them too? I just want to know. Anyways, you guys, that's pretty much it. If you guys enjoyed this YouTube video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and comment down your thoughts below what you think about these 3 paranormal story times that happened to my best friend. What are your thoughts on it? And if you would like me to share more of these videos here on my channel, about paranormal story times and paranormal encounters, please let me know in the comments down below. And if you want me to share one of yours, comment down below your experience, and I will share it here on the channel and talk about my thoughts and opinions on it, and hopefully we can see where that goes. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, you guys.